Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for the Fast Friday Facts. It's January 29th, 2021. Thanks for joining me today. Hey, it's really been an interesting week here in Garrett County Schools. So to begin with, let me take a minute to thank the parents, students, and staff at Camp Dick Robinson Elementary for being flexible this week. CDR unfortunately had to shift back to virtual for the week, and I know a shift like that is hard on the parents who have to shift childcare. It's hard on students who wanted to be in school for those hybrid days. And I know it's hard on our staff who have to shift from an in-person plan for lesson planning, for Google Meets, for slide decks, and on it goes. But as usual, you made the shift, and for the most part, you did it with a great attitude. So thank you for making that work, CDR. CDR joins Paint Lick Elementary as our two schools who flexed and gone virtual while everyone else stayed in person. So I want to thank both of those schools for being pioneers for us. Speaking of pioneers, I'd like to share a bit of history with you today. To do that, I have to start by thanking Garrett County High School football head coach Jerry Perry. He may have been a math teacher once upon a time, but he's fast becoming an outstanding researcher and historian. Coach Perry has been digging through some archives of newspapers, looking into the athletic history of Garrett County. And along the way, he frequently finds other nuggets of history related to Garrett County schools. And when he does, he's been kind enough to share them with me. So thank you, Coach Perry, and keep them coming. So back to the pioneers. You know, every morning when in-person school is in session, school buses are on the road across the Commonwealth. It's part of school life and school culture. But have you ever wondered about the start of school transportation? Well, wonder no more, because in his research, Coach Perry found the beginning of school transportation in the Commonwealth in a newspaper article from November the 14th, 1913. And yes, that's 107 years ago this past November. So if you allow me, I'd like to read you a portion of the article. Those who doubted and even fiercely opposed the consolidation of schools must now be convinced by the larger attendance of one good equipped school that it was for the best. Paint Lick first saw the vision and voted to consolidate her schools and erected a handsome building. Buena Vista followed. The next evidence of development was when Buena Vista gave her children free transportation. The vote was taken and carried. The wagons obviously fit in and already seem to have been established for ages. Other districts will fall in line, and the next generation will wonder, how could we have done it without them? It was a real treat to see those 4 handsome wagons, the first many of us ever saw, and we congratulate Buena Vista upon not only having the first in Garrett, but the first in the state. Educational workers have endorsed these wagons as a great step forward in the cause of education. So how neat is that? Buena Vista was the first school in the Commonwealth of Kentucky to have free transportation to school. And Buena Vista would eventually become part of Camp Dick, but they will forever be the first to provide transportation to school. So Paint Lick and CDR have pioneered virtual instruction while others were in person. Buena Vista pioneered school transportation, and now we'd like to ask you to help us pioneer something new as well. This past Wednesday, maybe Tuesday for some of you, we released a survey asking you to provide some feedback to us on how we can support students who may have lost some learning during the pandemic. Lost learning does matter. It's difficult to build the next skill a student needs if they lost the skill prior to it. The lost learning isn't new. It happens when students are absent from school. That happened in schools long before the pandemic, and that's why attendance has always been so important. But in the pandemic, it's created a more systemic loss of learning. The survey that we released is intended to give parents, students, teachers, staff, and the community a chance to tell us how we might best help recover the lost learning. So what does the survey have to do with being a pioneer? Well, we want you to think outside the box. We want to explore new avenues of making learning connections, and we want to think about doing things we've always thought might work, but never had a place or a way to try them. So in other words, we want to see what we can pioneer in order to help the recovery of lost learning. So if you haven't already done so, please complete the survey. If you can, encourage someone else to complete it. I'd love to see more students tell us what they think. I know doing a survey about school is not high on a student's bucket list, but students have phenomenal insights, and we want to hear them. If you can, encourage a student to complete the survey as well. The survey link has been shared in Central Record and through social media, and I'm linking the survey in the description section of this video, so you should be able to find it somewhere. So that's it for this week. It's all about pioneering this week. Virtual instruction at one site while in person at others, free school transportation, and new ways to recover lost learning during a pandemic. Oh yeah, 2 other things. Virtual instruction on a snow day, and the first round of the Moderna vaccinations for our staff. It really was quite a week. So thanks for taking time to join me this week. I hope you have already completed the survey, but if you haven't, please take some time to do so. We will have all schools in person this coming week, and we're excited about that. And I look forward to sharing more updates with you next week. So thanks again for joining me for the Fast Friday Facts and for all you do to support Gary County Schools. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.